Canada has invested billions in public transit. Delivery's been slow and expensive. It's been unreliable in some of the best cases in major cities across the country. And in fact, it doesn't necessarily match up with the way Canadians live. Talking with me about that today and more, Bradie Whetham joins us, reporter at large here at TPL. Bradie, thanks. I appreciate this. Reporter and GO Train specialist. I think I've become a GO Train specialist over the past 8 months or so. Yeah, it's been quite the experience. Before we get into it, I want to remind people, subscribe, tell a friend, tplmedia.ca. And on the in the Play Store, you'll find the TPL, True Patriot Love app, and the same thing for Apple. So I recommend you do it. All of the most recent shows go up. Plus, there's some members-only content coming to YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, right, maybe start signing up or thinking about it and allocating those funds for that. But yeah, we're going to put up a couple features out on YouTube. So some premium content is on its way. 2 new docs are slated for members only, and we'll be giving you more information about that. But yeah, you are a GO specialist here in the studio. Many people that work here are transit people, but the majority of us are drivers. Yep. Your experience over the last 7 months on the Ontario GO between the Hamilton area and the Toronto area has been nothing short of abominable. You know, I used to take pride in riding the GO train back in like 2016, 2017-ish. I was on it every single day for a year, going from, I lived on Lakeshore, going down into Hamilton for a business that I owned. And I used to love getting on that train. You almost felt like it was like, my baby takes the morning. Like it went through your head every morning. I didn't see that coming, I'll be honest with you. The sunrise. But I get the vibe. Yeah, it felt like you were on the train to go and do something successful. Now when you get on the train in 2026, 10 years later, you feel, if the train actually shows up, because they have been canceling a lot of trains recently, and we'll get into that in detail here through the episode, but showing up to the train now feels like you're getting robbed on your ticket price. What are you paying? The average is about $15 to $20 per one way. That's an expensive ride. Used to be $21 inclusive for the day, right? $30 a day is a lot of money to ask people to put aside from. It is, and if you're most paycheck. Of these stations outside of the downtown Toronto GTA core, they take an Uber to get to. Right, they're not in suburbia. They're in the middle of like the big block areas. Well, that goes to the thing that I opened with saying, I don't know that transit really matches up to the urban sprawl that we put out there, and how as Canadians we expect it to be serviced in that way is really difficult, because it does require buses to trains to intercity trains or and then another bus or Uber once you're in the city to get to the location you're trying to get to. Right. Since the holidays, it's been a challenge for you because there was technical issues with a derailment, I think, near or at Union Station. Mm-hmm. That took, it felt like weeks actually to repair and get back on track. Frozen signals it seems to be the big one. Frozen signals. I don't even know how we're in a zone in Canada where they don't keep those signals either warmed. Our friend Paul, a host on this show, was saying that too, that there should be some sort of like system in place that if the weather even dropped to minus 50, that these signals would still work. Minus 20, they should be dying out. Mainly winter here in Ontario. Yeah. Like you think we'd build for that. But understaffed is another big thing that I'm noticing. Staff is not the same as it used to be, even just in the summer. And it seems to be less and less every week that goes by. You see one security instead of 2, or you see nobody. Like if a train gets canceled, there's no one to talk to. Right. You're just stuck. And the person that's on the line. So what happens? You're stuck at a train. You've got to get to someplace. What do you do at the station when you realize, okay, my train has been fully canceled. I have no way to get to where I'm going. You hope the next one shows up. And if it doesn't, once you're 3 in, that's my motto now, is once I've missed 2 or 3 or I see that cancellations have happened, I just get an Uber and eat. 2 to 3 arrivals in a row could be. Yeah, in some cases, yeah. It seems to be more heading west than it is heading east. I don't know why. Well, maybe because you're going west. The people in the east are going, no, it's bad for us too. I know, but I see the schedules everywhere, right? And I see the trains that are going. It's very rare do I see them getting canceled heading into. Or what happens is they get turned into express trains. So they'll only stop at Union. Now, a couple of months ago, we did an episode on transit crime.
Yeah.
And that was a disturbing bit of business because across Canada, there is less security. People feel less secure on our public transit, buses and trains. Add to it the scheduling problems and technical issues that are holding people up. And now there's one more element to this. The population is growing. Since COVID, by the way, transit went down I think it went over 70% drop around COVID. It only bounced back to about 70% of what it was pre-COVID, 70 to 75%, because so many people were working from home. Now there's been a call to action to get people back to work.
Trains are rammed.
And the trains must be just so now you've got cancellations of many more people not getting to their destinations. This can cost you a job, cost more for daycare.
Yeah.
Put you in a situation of stress that you weren't bargaining for just to get to where you need to go.
I could only imagine the amount of people that lost their job and the jobs that don't have any leniency on being late. Like now, those jobs that you can't be late for. You've got to be there on that,
right.
That literally that minute. You got to be in there timed in. And there's no way to the websites don't update quick enough. The apps don't update quick enough. Trains just seem to come and go as they please.
Yeah.
This is some days. Some other days it's nice. And it's, speaking about the transit, just so I don't forget about it, the crime in transit. I've heard that's a huge thing. I see that that's probably maybe after some of the stops that I'm taking, because I haven't seen any of that.
Oh, I'm relieved to hear that.
Zero.
Okay, so now GO is one issue. But then you get into the rest of Toronto.
That seems to be the problem.
This is kind of the crux of the discussion, if you don't mind, Bradie, because we've just built an LRT. What did that take us? 8 months, Nick? 8 to 12 months to build that? No, it was
a little bit longer.
Years overdue.
A little bit longer than 8 months.
Billions of dollars over budget.
A billion, yeah. $1 billion.
And it runs $1.5 billion?
Something like that, yeah.
And it runs partially by the sounds of things. That is just one case. Other parts of the country, Montreal was successful with it. The Ottawa LRT was a mess as well. We're not necessarily great at building transit here in Canada that matches our needs for certain, matches our budget. And now we're about to embark on a high-speed rail project at the federal level that will connect Toronto with Quebec City with stops along the way.
So we look stuff up a lot of the time before we do these shows. We don't just talk, although, like you say, the comment section may not agree with us.
Yeah, we do tend to do a little bit of research.
And one of the most outrageous numbers is per kilometer, what it costs us to do transit. And I think that the reason those numbers are so high and why transit may get a kind of secondary seat is because Canada's not really laid out for transit outside of major cities. So what's the price per kilometer to lay transit down?
Well, the average cost, it's some of the highest, by the way, in the world. It's about $396 million per kilometer.
That's outrageous.
We didn't build the infrastructure to handle it, and we built the sprawl already. We built a lot of it. It's really interesting to me that we're so streetcar adept and so light rail adept when we're in the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than the subway in winter if it's run right and, Who
wants to wait outside in the snow to catch a train to be across town in 10 seconds and apparently get in a fight while you're on it?
Well, don't worry, Bradie, because it's only $396 million per kilometer.
Okay, that's good.
Unless you're building high speed.
Wait, what's the high speed cost, Mike?
It can be north of almost $500 million per kilometer, everything in.
$500 million per kilometer.
Yeah. Having said that, they have an amortization program that essentially should bring the cost down to a mere $30 million per kilometer by the time all is said and done. Because they're building so much of it, this is 1,000 kilometers of high-speed rail that we're talking about, going 300 kilometers an hour, reducing a trip between Toronto and Quebec City to, roughly half the time, 3 hours, you're there end to end. And they're already beginning the process. They had a meeting in the city of Toronto down at the St. Lawrence Market, where all of the experts and all the pundits got together and had a chat about it and explained from an engineering standpoint how they would do it, from a political standpoint.
We had one of our researchers down there. Yeah.
And so this is well underway. This is something that is being pushed along.
It's a lot of money.
And it makes me wonder, okay, so we're not really great at doing this. We've created this sprawl issue, and yet we're going to undertake this massive project that will take longer than the average political stay in Parliament is. So will it get part way and get dropped? Will it get neglected after this? Will it just become a boondoggle?
How much? Okay, so the cost of that, I'm just trying to think of where we get to that number. Let's just say it's 30 and it's not 500, because 500 is just mind-boggling.
In the city, you can see it. There's a lot of infrastructure
Maybe
to move.
in the city, yeah.
You know, if you're digging tunnels, it can be
But the farmland
outrageous.
that they bought, like, why would the cost be so high to just lay down track?
I think a lot of it has to do with where they're going to lay the track and what's required there. There's a lot of, Bradie, I made this all up. I have no idea how you can get to that number.
No, I understand how you get to that number, because there's a lot of, just to lay down a kilometer of track is a lot, it would be a lot harder than laying down a kilometer of asphalt, right? There is so much that goes into it.
Yeah,
The amount of the team that would be hired would be a good portion of that alone. It would cost millions just in labor. I
don't think you can have a lot of moving around engineering-wise on a high-speed train. I think it has to be pretty smoothly engineered. You would assume that it's...
Have you seen the turns that some of them do in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. At like 300 clicks, right? They're just...
By the way, I want this. Of everybody I want this the most, because I think it'd be cool to get on one of these things. I've always been dying to get... I love the ones in Europe. They've made them work. It's made a big difference to how people can do business and live life in a widespread area. Live in one area, work in another. It's highly effective. Now, will it be priced accordingly? To use Via Rail is not necessarily inexpensive.
I wonder if this is one of the reasons why they kiboshed the idea of doing the light rail across Canada. Not only because there's been a couple of reasons as to why. One of them going into the States, there could be some issues and things like that. We've talked about that previously ourselves, but the cost.
Yeah.
What would that cost to go across Canada? This would be... I
don't know.
We'd break ourselves, right?
It's interesting because let's talk about other transit getting us across the country. I mean, a flight, on one of the airlines, one of the discount airlines for sure, you could get there for $169, $200. If you don't take a bag, you can get there for... If you don't take a bag and you don't have a coat, they charge you for every single thing. You got a bag, you got to pay for carry-on.
You have 2 shoes on?
Oh,
that's $20 each.
Yeah. You know what it costs for a bag to get on a plane with you now? Your arm, just your
an extra carry-on.
It's $100, man.
Yeah.
So, okay, by the time you get to Montreal, if you have bags from Toronto, you're looking at probably $400 taxes in.
Okay.
Would a high-speed rail train be any less expensive? I don't think so. Because if you take a look at a Via Rail ticket, and it must be at least double that. If you're getting there in half the time, I'm just going to guess the ticket will be twice the price. Yeah. I think we'll have a lot to pay off on this, and so they won't be discounting tickets all that often, I'm assuming. So let's say that it costs $250. You're already more than taking a flight. And a flight gets you there an hour earlier. I don't know that there's consumer appeal for this at a price point that would be comparable to air travel.
Well, it would be quicker, even though that the travel with the flight is quicker. It'd still technically be quicker with the process of getting on a train and getting off of a train, going to a parking lot, not waiting for your luggage.
Bradie, you go to Porter, let's say, for example, on Toronto Island Airport.
Yeah.
And you're getting in a cab in Montreal an hour and a half later at the very longest. So I don't know. I wonder if there is a market for this.
And it also depends on the stations that you're arriving to too, right? Like, how are they laid out?
Hold on. I took a note of that.
Let's go about...
I can't memorize this stuff,
Well, it starts in Toronto. I know that. It ends up in Peterborough, I think, is its first stop. And then from there on out.
The main terminal cities are Toronto and Quebec City.
Yep.
The intermediate cities would be Peterborough, Ottawa, Montreal, Laval, and Trois-Rivières, Quebec. So...
this just sounds like a luxury line for the people in Parliament.
Well, you'll love this then. Guess where they're going to start?
No.
Ottawa to Montreal. So that would be the first. That would be the first tie connecting two provinces, which is interesting.
You're trying to make me mad. I'm trying to behave.
No, listen, you can have your opinion.
I think that is, if this transit is created for civilians to get to places easier and make life easier, and the very first thing we're going to do is slap it in the middle of Parliament and get that figured out first.
You know what's interesting is they actually base this. It's only 200 kilometers, so you're looking at a couple of hours driving. Okay,
is this the test, like the tester?
Kind of, in the sense that it connects our capital with another major city in another province. That's pretty major. But the other thing is, it is one of the busiest train use corridors in Canada. Yeah, certainly in that area. So it's already used. I think there's already a market for it with the federal offices and the government offices. That would make the average Canadian
happy to hear that, though, that we're not using civilians as the testers. We're using the politicians.
That's pretty good. I don't know. They will be the first to get on. Trust me. If it's snakes on a plane, we'll find out from our politicians first. But it's interesting because that first corridor is an interesting test. If all they did was build that, I bet they could get away with just doing that.
I think
that might be the ultimate plan. I hate to say it, but
I don't want to be that guy. Like, I feel like my tinfoil hat is always on.
I don't know if that's a tinfoil hat moment, because if they build this and it seems like it was a difficult build, they'll have to rethink the extensions on either side.
But they'll keep that running.
Most likely. It's interesting. Well, look, if it's operated like the GO, we're in trouble. Certainly, I do love a Via Rail trip.
Via is awesome.
So I would love to do the high-speed train.
A high-speed train from here to Quebec would be an interesting trip. And I say that the second that, that they do this, we're one of the first groups on there just to see what it's like.
I also hate air travel now. It's no fun.
It is horrible.
It's not comfortable.
No.
You get on a Via Rail and you're like nicely sat.
But even if you pay for business class.
You want something nice to eat. Oh, business class?
No, that's like the way economy used to be.
And business class on a train is classy.
Oh, yeah. Business class on a train is awesome. Rent your own cart.
Oh,
throw a little party in there.
You can do that even?
We're lucky we're not turning the party lights on right now. It's to show what it would be like.
I want my birthday party on a train next year. Toronto to Ottawa. We'll go meet up with the Prime Minister and go for drinks.
The GoFundMe has been started. Oh, there we go. There it is. Right. There's Mike's party on the train.
Thanks for joining us, Bradie. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate it. Put your comments in. Don't forget to follow and share it with a friend. We appreciate you being there. Thanks.